Hello everyone, welcome to Computer Science. Our subject Computer Fundamentals, topic Examples of Algorithm and Flowchart. Okay, what is algorithm? What is flowchart? What are the basics of algorithm and flowcharts? ഇതെല്ലാം നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. Then ഇനി കുറച്ച് എക്സാമ്പിൾസ് ആണ്. റൈറ്റ് ആൻ അൽഗോരിതം ആൻഡ് ഡ്രോ ഫ്ലോചാർട്ട്. ഫസ്റ്റ് എക്സാമ്പിൾ നോക്കാം കേട്ടോ. Write an algorithm and draw flowchart to find sum and average of three numbers. So our question is to add three numbers, find the sum of three numbers and also find their average. So there is a simple question ആണ്. First write the algorithm. Step 1 will be start always, right? Step 2 is to declare the variables. So declare the variables. We need three numbers to add, right? So we declare the variables a comma b comma c. Then we need a sum. So sum. Then average. Okay, a b c sum average. Next step is to read the numbers a b and c, which means we need to give the inputs. So step 3 is to read the values, read the input values. So read the numbers A, B, C. After reading this A, B, C, next step is to next step will be adding this three numbers, right? So for that, set sum, variable sum is equal to A plus B plus C. Then we have to find the average, right? Average is equal to sum by number. Set average equal to sum divided by the number is 3. So average is equal to sum by 3. Sum കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചു, അതുപോലെ AVG ആവറേജും കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചു. Next step is to display, right? So step 6 is equal to display sum comma AVG. Display the outputs. So last step will be, of course, stop. This is our algorithm to find the sum and average of three numbers. Next step is to draw the flowchart. Step 1 is, of course, a terminal symbol with a start. Then input symbol, parallelogram, right? Read A, B, C. എപ്പോഴും നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ അൽഗോരിതം നോക്കിയെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ റീഡ് നമ്പേഴ്സ് എ ബി സി ഇറ്റ്സ് എ ലോങ് സെൻറ്റൻസ് റൈറ്റ് ബട്ട് വിത്തിൻ a symbol of flowchart we should write precisely. Okay, the lines should be, or the statement should be simple and clear. So read A, B, C. That's it. The next step is to find the sum, right? Sum is equal to this A plus B plus C. Next is to find the average. AVG is equal to this sum divided by number 3. Next step is to display. Again we use a parallelogram for output. Display sum comma AVG. Last step is to stop. So this is the algorithm and this is the flowchart to find the sum and average of three numbers. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. Write an algorithm and draw flowchart to find sum and average of n numbers. Here the difference, in our previous question we have discussed sum and average of three numbers, just three numbers. But here we need to take an input from the user. How many numbers we need to add? And after we have to add those numbers and find out the sum and average. Okay. Let's start with the algorithm. Step 1, of course, start. Step 2 is to, we need to initialize the variables. Variables are, we need I, num and sum is initialized to 0. Okay. Enter the value of num. So first step, next step is to read the input. We have to read the number of how many numbers need to be added. Okay. So the enter the value of num. Num is the variable, that is number up to which sum is to be calculated. Num is the number up to which sum is to be calculated. If we give 5 in place of num, then we need to find out 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. That's the logic. Next set that sum is equal to 0, and again set AVG average equal to 0, and set I is equal to 1. So നമ്മൾ starting with 1 numbers add ചെയ്യുക 1 തൊട്ടിട്ടാണ് add ചെയ്യുക അതുകൊണ്ട് I is equal to 1 set ചെയ്തു. Next is a loop because up to same procedure and we are going to add this number. We are just adding the adjacent numbers and up to n, up to our count maximum number. So repeat steps 6 through 7. 2 steps need to be repeated until I less than or equal to num. Okay. I, value of I less than or equal to num. If the value of I is greater than num, we need to stop. Then these are the steps need to be repeated. Sum is equal to sum plus I is equal to I plus 1. Then after the steps repeat, right? Next, when this condition violates, നമ്മൾ ലൂപ്പിന് ഔട്ട്സൈഡ് വരും അല്ലേ. അപ്പോൾ സ്റ്റെപ്പ് 8 ഇസ് ഈക്വൽ ടു AVG is equal to so ഈ ഒരു കണ്ടീഷൻ കഴിയുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് കറക്റ്റ് എക്സാക്ട് സം കിട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ടാവും in this variable sum. The next step is to find out the average. So AVG is equal to sum divided by num. Then step 9, we need to print the sum and AVG, right? So print sum comma AVG. Last step, oh sorry, this is not step 9. This is step 10. Step 10 is stop. Okay. Let's trace this algorithm with some input numbers. Consider the num. Enter the value of num. Num is 3. We need to add the first 3 numbers 1 plus 2 plus 3. So first step is to set sum equal to 0, IVG equal to 0. Okay, I is set to 1. Then repeat 6 to 7 until I less than or equal to 3. So of course I means 1 less than or equal to 3, right? 1 less than or equal to 3. So we can enter into this loop. Here sum is equal to sum plus I. So our value of sum will be sum equal to sum is initialized to 0. Then 0 plus I's value is 1. So 0 plus 1 is equal to sum is equal to 1. Then I is incremented. I was 2, right? Then I is incremented by 1. So I becomes 2. Then again these two steps are repeated. So we check whether this condition is satisfied or not, which means now our I is 2, 2 less than or equal to 3. Okay, condition is satisfied. Then again find the sum. Our sum is now 1. Then 1 plus I's value is 2. 1 plus 2. 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. Then I is incremented to 3. Again check this condition here. 3 less than or equal to 3. So that's also true. Then enter into the loop. Step 6 means sum plus I, and I is 3. Then 3 plus, now value of I is 3. 3 plus 3 is equal to 6, right? 6. Then I is again incremented to 4. Then again check this condition, and here it will be like 4 less than or equal to 3, and that's not true. So we will get out of the loop. So from here jump to step 8, because this loop will work only when this condition is satisfied. Here our values violates this condition. So from step 5 we directly move to step 8, and by that time in this variable sum, our sum is 6 now, right? Then we need to find the AVG, average. Average is equal to sum divided by num, and the num is 3 and our sum is here 6. So AVG is equal to 6 by 3. means 2. Next step is to print the sum and AVG. So it will print like sum is equal to 6 and AVG is equal to 2 and stop. So ഇങ്ങനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ അൽഗോരിതം ട്രേസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് ആൻഡ് ദ കറക്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്ന അൽഗോരിതം ആണ്. നെക്സ്റ്റ് മൂവിങ് ഓൺ ടു ദ ഫ്ലോ ചാർട്ട്. സ്റ്റാർട്ടിങ് വിത്ത് ദ സ്റ്റാർട്ട്, then read num, the number of symbols, so the numbers need to be added. Next step is to initialize, right? Initialize I21, AVG and sum are cleared. Next step is to check whether this portion is how a loop is implemented using Flowchart. Okay. Check whether, first we have to check the condition. If the condition is satisfied, we can enter the loop. Okay. Check whether I less than or equal to num. If I less than or equal to num, we can enter the loop. So of course this decision statement can have two values, yes and no. If it is true, the answer is yes, then we move on to this path, through this path. Okay, so the first step is to, the condition is satisfied, so we can enter the loop, which means we can add the number, that is s is equal to sum is equal to sum plus this I, and next step is incrementing I is equal to I plus 1. Every time the I is incremented, we check whether this condition is satisfied or not. Okay, if it is satisfied, again we enter this loop. If it is not, we can get out of the loop. So I is incremented, then after incrementing I, our flow of data flows to this. So again we check whether the value of I is less than or equal to num. Then when this condition violates, we get a no, right? No, which means I is greater than num. At that time, we can get out of the loop and we can find the average. AVG is equal to the sum divided by this num, sum by num. Next step is to display the sum and AVG. Then we can terminate. This is the flow chart to find the sum and average of n numbers. Okay. Moving on to the next problem. Find the largest number among 3 numbers. We are given 3 numbers and we need to find the largest among the 3. It's a simple problem. Basically, this problem consists of many comparisons, if and then statements. So step 1 is of course start. Step 2, we just compare 2 numbers. First we compare 2 numbers, then the biggest number is compared with the next number. That is the logic. Read, first of all, we need to read all the values, all the numbers. Read the 3 numbers to be compared. Okay, read the 3 numbers to be compared as A, B and C. Next, check if A greater than B. If A is greater than B, if it is true, then step 3.1, this is sub step, right? Sub process. If A is greater than B, then this step works. Okay. If true, if the condition is true, A is greater than B, then we need to check whether A is greater than C. Then we can easily say that A is the largest number. So if true, then check if A is greater than C. If A is greater than C, then if this condition holds, so 3.1.1, this is the substep of 3.1. If A is greater than C, we can say that, if it is true, we can say that A is the greatest number. And if it is not true, we can say that C is the greatest number, right? That is, A is of course A is greater than B, and that A is less than C, which means C is greater than A, which means C is the largest number. That is described in this 3.1.2 step. If false, print C as the greatest number. Next, which means it is a substep of step 3. That is, A is greater than B, true. 3.1 is true. Then 3.2 is A is not greater, A is less than B, B is greater. Okay. 3.2, if the statement is false, if false, then check So here, if this is false, then B is greater than A. Then we need to check whether B is greater than C or not. Okay. If false, then check if B is greater than C. Okay. Then substep of 3.2.1, 3.2. That is 3.2.1. If true, which means if B is greater than C, then print B as the greatest number. If false, print C as the greatest number. Okay. And so let's trace with an example. Consider three numbers 2, 3, then 4, 5. Okay, this is the simplest one. 3, 4, 5. First step is to check if A is greater than B. Okay, so this is our A, this is B, and this is C. Check whether A is greater than B. A is not greater, right? A is lesser. So this 3.1 will not work. We will jump to 3.2, right? If A is greater than B, that statement is false. So if false, check B is greater than C. Checking whether B is greater than C. No, again that is false. So jump to this statement from 3.2, we jump to 3.2.2. If false, which means C as the greatest number. So greatest number is 5. So this is the simplest algorithm, right? Next, this is the flowchart. Start. Then declare. We need three variables A, B, and C. Read. Then this is the input statement. Okay. And this is the process. Okay. This is a rectangle and this is a parallelogram. Okay. This is a parallelogram. Read A, B, and C. After reading, next step, we need a decision making statements. Decisions rhombus, right? So first condition is checking whether A greater than B. Is A greater than B? If that is true, we again check if A greater than C, right? Is A greater than C? And if that is true, then we can print A as the largest number. Okay. Then if A greater than B is true and A greater than C is false, then we can say that this is the false part. We can say that C is the largest. Next, if A greater than B is false, which means B is greater, then take this path. And here again checking if B greater than C. If B is greater than C, then B is the largest number. Or if it is false, then again C is the largest number. Then after printing all that statements or print A, B, O, C, A or B, O, C, then we can stop. So this is how we can find the largest number among three numbers. Okay. So we have discussed three problems of how to write an algorithm and the draw flowchart. Hope the concept is clear. Thank you.